How's it going, y'all? Today I've got Ben on, who's a phone flipper out in Sydney. He's also already been flipping phones for over 1 year now. And he also got a business partner, Jamie, who generally just like helps him with stuff like repairs, sales, and also negotiations. Before he working together with me, he was in a pretty similar spot to pretty much all of my other students at this point. He only ever had one guy sourcing phones for him, which was pretty inconsistent and low lead volume. And at this time, also marketplace outreach. The biggest issue he kind of ran into, apart from not getting enough phones, was also that whenever he tried to get a good deal, people already kind of knew how much your phones were going for, so they honestly just expected way too much. Right after working with me, we already hit 15K in the first month, and last month we did 25K, which may seem a little bit crazy or even unrealistic for some people, but that was all using my meta ad system. So I think it's best if you just take a look at the video right after. All right, bro. I think it's best if you just tell us who you are and where in Australia you at, bro.
Yeah, man. My name's Ben, and in Australia, I'm in Sydney. Been here my whole life and been flipping phones for probably about a little over a year now. It's been good.
Mm-hmm. Sweet. So what did you do before phone flipping?
Nothing business-wise. I just worked full-time in a 9 to 5 in IT, so it was sort of familiar. But yeah, besides from that, nothing else.
So like pretty new and everything, you would say?
Pretty like basically straight into it, yeah. I had no idea about flipping phones whatsoever before I started doing it.
Yeah. And pretty much, I mean, how did you kind of get in touch with me? Like, I mean, I obviously know it for like people watching or anything. How did that kind of go?
I've got a business partner, Jamie. You sold a couple of phones to him up in Brisbane or Gold Coast, and ever since then we kind of just been working together, and making bank.
Yeah. So you said like your business partner and everything. So kind of for people to understand, like how is that kind of looking like in our case? Because like for context, like I always like sold to Jamie and everything when I was selling to him up there in the Gold Coast. But like, what do you mean by business partner?
So I used to do it separate, like when I was first starting out, and then I eventually ran into Jamie through selling phones as well. And ever since then, we kind of just like joined together as an actual company and a business running together. It's a lot easier with funds management and having another person doing it instead of doing it by yourself. But yeah, so I've been doing it with him like together probably for like 8 or 9 months now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, makes sense. So obviously we've only, I think it's been like 2.5 months now, been working together as well. So me, Jamie, and you obviously, but like before, like how was the situation like kind of looking like before? So like, where did you like get majority of your phones? Was it like marketplace? Was it like, I don't know, like some specific person? How did that kind of look like?
Yeah, so basically, like, we were still working together, but to get the phones that we needed, like, throughout the week, it was usually either through Marketplace, late nights on eBay, or we had a couple people selling us, like, bulk stock as well here and there, but eventually they ended up just dying off, and we didn't really have much contact with them anymore. So, and then it kind of worked out perfectly, meeting you. It was around the same time, and then that's just pretty much been our main source of phones ever since then.
Yeah. So you would say, like, the main thing, like, that kind of like stopped you from scaling, like you and Jamie's like pretty much just like getting enough phones, because like these B2B deals and everything with like bulk buyers most of the time probably also like lower margins and everything, I suppose, and like, I don't know, not really consistent supply of phones, I guess, right?
Yeah, they were like, the margins on the phones weren't the best, and then obviously if we were getting them through Marketplace as well, it was a lot more of a headache having to like negotiate with the person and then go meet up with them and pick up the phones ourselves, and it was just lots of back and forth, whereas this is just a lot more simple.
Yeah. And I mean, like on Marketplace specifically, obviously you kind of meet the worst kinds of people that always want like the most bang for the buck for the phones and everything. So like the biggest issues on Marketplace, like if you kind of were to describe them, like what were them? Just like too high price expectations, or what was it like exactly?
Yeah, the high price expectations is the main problem with Marketplace, and then you've got a lot of people too who, like, you're competing against 50 other resellers in your area who are always also trying to get the same phone. So those are the main two issues. Like, people just want way too much for what they've got, and then you're also trying to get in first before anyone else too. So it's always such a headache.
Yeah, makes sense. And I mean, like, obviously you said like already like more or less like a year into phones before you all like kind of more or less started working together. So what did you guys like, I guess, try to do to just like scale further? So was it like mainly like these B2B deals or anything, or was it like something specific that you kind of tried out and that worked or that didn't really work? Like what kind of happened before?
Yeah, I mean, we started selling online, which like helped a lot instead of just doing selling on marketplace and like local marketplaces. That helped a lot, but also, you know, you can only get so far. And then the lack of stock that we were getting per week, it's hard to actually scale further into that, because if we're only getting, you know, like 5 or 10 phones a week, you can't really do an insane amount of numbers with that. So that was pretty much the biggest setback, like biggest thing holding us back.
Yeah. So I guess like decent-ish money, but nothing that was like, I don't know, like being like crazy numbers or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could,
okay.
if you're just doing, I mean, you can make a little bit of money here and there, like with marketplace and eBay, if you're just constantly 24/7 on it. But also, there's just you know, much better ways to go about it.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right. So marketplace, everything. Then right after we kind of like started working together, or like even before. So like your biggest hesitations with that one. I mean, obviously I already knew Jamie and everything, so there was like already like a lot of rapport built. But like, were there like any hesitations where you were like, oh shit, maybe this doesn't work for us out, or I don't know, something you specifically had in mind, or I mean, what was your kind of
like obviously there was like money we had to invest, and it was like a completely new thing for us as well, because we've never really run ads or anything like that before. So I was trying to get my head around it, how all the operations work. And obviously I've never met you before in my life too. I know Jamie has, so it made it a little bit easier. But I think, you know, just jumping in and taking the risk was probably the best thing that we did. So, yeah.
Yeah. So was it like, I don't know. I mean, I remember like, I was like talking to Jamie on the phone or anything, but was there like, I don't know, like a specific moment where you were like, oh shit, let's just do this? Or was it just like, I don't know, more so like a continuous process, like talking to Jamie, like weighing out your options or anything? Or was it like a specific moment where you were like, all right, let's just like push onto this?
I think we kind of realized that if we wanted to scale like to the point where we want to, and like sort of where we're at now, we weren't getting able to do that with our current operations. And when you run us through the process of how everything works and what sort of phones, like the amount we could be getting per week, I think we kind of just both agreed that it would be the best thing to do at the moment, which obviously, you know, paid off.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. And I mean, obviously, like also like in Australia and everything, you obviously also have like some different options of like people who are like, I mean, you've also already tried with like both deals and everything, or like people sourcing phones for you. Was it just like too small of a scale where it was like, all right, it's not even really worth it to just get like a few phones a week? Or what was your kind of mindset when you were like, all right, let's just like go with me, obviously, instead of like going with other people? Like, what was like the biggest reason for you with that one?
Yeah, there was a couple other people we looked into. We didn't really take them too seriously though, because they weren't like doing it. They weren't able to prove that they could get phones at such a scale that you were. So that's why we kind of just weighed up our options and seeing what was going to work best for us. Like there was people who could source phones for us, but then again, that was still through marketplace, and like. There's such a limit to marketplace as well, because not everyone's going to list their phone, whereas this people have like seen the ad and when they're just scrolling through Instagram and Facebook, and you know they want to sell it when they can realize they can get money out of it. So yeah, I think definitely going with you the better option out of what we had on our table.
I appreciate that, bro. And I mean, like still, like obviously, I'm pretty open about this. Like to join my mentorship or anything, it's like a lot of money. So how did you and Jamie kind of get around with it and kind of be comfortable with the investments? And how did the guarantee factor kind of like also play a role in there?
Well, obviously we did a lot of research into it as well, like ourselves. We're not just going to dive in and pay for something like for no reason. But we built up a little bit of capital like beforehand as well from like flipping phones elsewhere. And we were able to just decide on the fact that we were going to invest in ourselves and our future more so with you. And obviously, you know, that's quite literally paid off, you know, even in the first month. Like we've seen crazy results like that we didn't even realize could be possible, and that's when we kind of realized as well that there's definitely a big market in this game, and we're just going to continue on from here and keep scaling. Yeah,
for sure. And I mean, like for people who don't know, pretty much when you also started out, you were still like doing like, I mean, how many hours were you still doing at your job and everything? I mean, still like partly doing obviously, but like how many hours were you doing there?
So I was working full time, so like a 9 to 5. So what is that, like 40 hours a week or whatever? And then after
Yeah.
work and on the weekends as well, I was doing like phones. So after hours, even like during work, sometimes whenever I got the chance, I'd be working on like phones in the business and stuff. So yeah, it was quite literally like all around the clock.
Yeah, but you were still able to do it is what I'm also like trying to say, right? Because
Oh,
like some
yeah.
people are like, oh, shit, I got schooled, like I cannot do it, you know? It's like
This is definitely possible, like around the clock. Like if you're working full time and you have so much time after work, like you could be spending that time doing like going to pick up phones, talking to customers, like making operations. There's so many things that you can do, like outside of work or outside of school hours that can benefit you, and then it can set yourself up as well to the point where you'd be even able to like quit your job if that's what you decide to do.
Yeah. And I mean, like even just like going back, like with the timing and everything, it's like you obviously also can just like put more time into it, or also make more money out of it because like, I mean, in our case, I obviously know this is also true. It's like people just come to you most of the time as well, you know? It's like obviously at a bigger scale, you kind of have to like sort things out, have drivers and anything, but it's like, normally you can just like always have like a proper script and people are happy to also like come to you. With marketplace, you don't really have that, you know? So it's like just like more time going there as well.
You kind of become like the person who like everyone thinks of when they want to sell their phone as well. Like after a while, like people come back with referrals and things like that, and you just become like the name of the game, especially in like your city when you're, running ads in that location. Like it just becomes second nature for most people to come to you, and yeah, it makes it a lot easier. Like if you're putting in the hours, like the more you work on this, the more money you're going to make, and I think that's one of the best things about this business model as well.
Yeah, for sure, I agree. I mean, I guess for like people who don't really like understand what you mean by like, or you kind of put your face out there and everything, it's like, why would people much rather like, for example, sell to you compared to like a random person on marketplace? Like, what is your kind of perspective on this for people who don't really understand what that means?
I think it's just a whole process of like someone seeing your ad, messaging you, and then, it could be within the next hour or two having, myself or one of my drivers come and pick up and like catch them out on the spot. It's a very simple process, whereas compared to marketplace, if they're trying to sell a phone, they have to list it, they have to get approved, they have to wait like, days upon days, sometimes deal with scammers, time wasters. Like it's a massive headache, which is why a lot of people don't even bother listing their phones. Some people don't even know that their phones are worth money, which is why it's good when they come through and then they, my face becomes familiar after that as well, which would be the same for anyone else who gets into it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you are day to day now. Like obviously, you kind of like already put a little bit like info into this, but like your day to day now, how does that kind of look like? Like with like messaging back people, like scheduling meetups, or like people coming to you and everything. How's that kind of looking like?
Pretty much wake up and just check whatever new leads have come through. So any messages of people wanting to sell their phones, and then throughout the day as well, that messages will be pretty consistent. Like every hour, like you have a bunch of people messaging through. I'd be arranging meetups and drivers if it's too far away for me to go pick up, or if they want to come and drop it off as well. And then I'd patch people out. I'd be going to look at the conditions, make sure they're all good, list them up on wherever I'm selling them at, and it's really just rinse and repeat. It's always pretty interesting as well because you're meeting new people and it's not just the same thing like over and over and over again. So
but you would still say like the process is like fairly simple, or are there also like sometimes things where it's like, oh shit, like I don't really know how to do this, I kind of gotta figure this out? Like how is it like in your opinion?
It's honestly like the simplest thing in the world. Like the whole process is you buy someone's phone, you either repair it and then you sell it, or you sell it as is and then you take profits, you reinvest it. Like it's a very, very simple process, and it's pretty much anyone can do it. And honestly, like there's a lot of people younger in the game as well that are doing it nowadays. And I think that's, just proof in the pudding there.
And then like apart from your day to day and everything, is there like something concrete that I kind of helped you guys with, where it was like, I don't know, like something with like deductions or messaging or like understanding with the ads? Like, is there like something specific where you kind of think like, all right, that was like good value for it?
Yeah, 100%. There's been like heaps of stuff, you know, like as you said, like deductions, figuring out how to like go about messaging people the right way to ensure that we're getting the most amount of phones per day, keeping on top of like even like cash flow, stuff like that, you know. It's just sort of all around the shot where there's been multiple things that you've helped us with. I wouldn't say there's one concrete thing because it's kind of just like a bunch of things, but if I had to say one thing, I'd say, you know, like just help with communication with customers just to make sure that we're getting the right amount of phones per day and not missing any leads.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, like regarding like deductions, some people, especially like people only doing like marketplacing, like or getting, I don't know, phone source for them, they don't really know what you probably mean with deductions. Can you also like kind of explain that for these people?
Yeah, so basically, it's deductions are more so for like broken phones. So if things are broken, like the back glass, the front screen, the battery, each of those things would be a deduction of what you would pay on a good like conditioned phone. So for example, if there was like an iPhone 14 in perfect condition, you'd pay like, you know, like $300, for example. But if there's a cracked back, then you deduct, you know, $100 or $120, just so you can get a better price to be able to profit on that as well, because you wouldn't pay, you know, good money for a broken phone. So
yeah, for sure. And I mean, like obviously, like with deductions as well. I think like obviously for some people it's like 120, whatever. But you can obviously replace it for much cheaper. So like the goal obviously is also like to just make more money out of these deductions. Right.
Yeah,
so that's like
you profit off the deductions. You don't want to give the customers an actual price that you're going to be paying to repair it. Whether you repair it yourself or you have a third party do it, you want to always try and make the most amount of money without being too, you know, much of a low ball. Otherwise, it's, you know, it's a problem for them too. But yeah, it's usually pretty chill.
And I mean, like, correct me if I'm wrong there, but I also think like biggest majority definitely also is like phones with like issues, battery cracked, whatever, like with all the phones that you guys are also like picking up, right? So it's like we pretty much
it's primarily like broken devices. I'd say, you know, like 70% of them are all broken. And honestly, the margins in broken devices are better than the ones in good condition as well. Of course, depending on what deal you end up getting on them. But yeah, in our experience, broken devices is mostly what comes through.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like I said before, like 2.5 months-ish now. But do you maybe specifically remember like the first day or the first 1, 2, 3 days, like how fast did everything like kind of change with all the messages like coming in, like how many phones, like how did the situation look like there?
Yeah, I mean, obviously everything was still new to us, so we were still trying to figure it out, but we had your help along the start as well. And probably first few days we had like, you know, it was, I don't even remember, but it was quite a fair few messages compared to what we'd be ever used to with Marketplace. We were probably still getting like 10 phones at least a day on the first few days. And it's just consistent. Even if it's like 5 or so, it's a lot more than what you'd be able to ever get with Marketplace or if you're scrolling through eBay all the time.
Yeah, I mean, even just like 5 phones, like when people hear 10 phones or something, like they instantly think like that's not even possible, you know? Especially like if they only use some Marketplace, because like, bro, for some people it's like they only see like 5 listings daily like on Marketplace, and they're like, oh shit, my city is dead. You know,
it was a shock to me to even realize how many phones are out there in your city as well. Like, you might think that your city doesn't have that many people because your Marketplace might not be that good, but it's honestly insane because these people have just got phones laying in their drawers and they think nothing of it until they come across, you know, the ad that you're posted, and they're like, oh, I can get money from this. And yeah, you can get easily 5 phones like and upwards each day if you're like persistent with it and always on it.
100%. So like money wise, obviously everybody's like pretty interested in that one. Like how did like the first month and now like last month was obviously also a pretty big month. How did these numbers like kind of look like, I guess, like profit actually?
Yeah. In the first month, obviously everything was still new, but we were kind of caught on to everything like operations wise and processes pretty fast. I think in the first month we made around a 15K mark in profit as well. And that's just being pretty consistent with it, you know, not spending every single hour of the day doing it, but that just even proves it more often. And then most recent month that just went past, that would have been May, we had our probably biggest month, I think. It was around the 25K mark that we hit. And we're just, you know, each month is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So you can see clear consistency with the ads and whatnot everyone's running.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, like, bro, like for some people, like 25K, that's not even what they earn in a year, like doing like normal marketplace phone flipping, you know. This is definitely like pretty big numbers. But I mean, it was also like more or less pretty clear because whenever you're like an actual go getter, and I mean, like say I said again with like Ben or anything, like 48 hours working and still did phones or anything, it's like pretty clear that like if you want it bad enough, it's like very straightforward. Like you pretty much already have the system, you know.
Yeah,
it's just like about like doing the basics.
yeah, if you want it bad enough, like it's definitely possible, you know, like if you put in the hours of the work and you have the right systems in place, you know, with running ads, you know, the sky's the limit, honestly. And it's just, if you stay consistent with it, then you're going to see results that you want as well.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, was there also like a specific moment? I mean, Ari, like last month was like pretty fucking insane, but I mean, like apart from that, was there like a specific moment where you were like, oh shit, like that shit works, or was it just like a continuous process where you were like, oh yeah, I'm kind of reaping the rewards now, or how was the process like that for you?
I think the rewards thing is good. Obviously, we're reinvesting like a lot of the money that we're getting back into, you know, scaling what we're doing. But if there was a certain point, I'd say like, you know, just even like finishing my day of picking up phones or getting phones dropped off and seeing like, you know, 10 to 15 phones just sitting there. I'm just like, wow, you know, you could never do this like beforehand without this stuff. Like it's just not possible. Like you could spend, you know, 24 hours a day on Marketplace, eBay or wherever you're getting phones from. And I don't think you could still get as many phones as you do running ads. Like it just isn't possible.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's the same thing like you said before, bro. It's like so many people think like the only phones that exist are like on Marketplace. But it's like even if you just like take a look at like a small ass city, it's like, I don't know, you maybe have like 30, 50K people in there. Like there's so many people even in such a small city that just have iPhones and they're just not aware about like even listing it, you know? They don't even think about it.
And they just can't be bothered half the time. And it's just like, if you think about it, everyone has a phone and everyone's pretty much upgraded their phones as well. And a lot of these people just have it laying around doing nothing. They don't even know that they can get money out of it. So they see you wanting to buy it and it's just, you know, it just clicks in their head that they can get money on the spot. And that's where you come in.
Yeah, 100%. So what was it like? I mean, obviously you said, all right, it's like probably more like a continuous process, but was it like, something that like surprised you the most, like either like I don't know the volume of phones or like how quick everything scaled, like for you personally at least. I mean I don't know with obviously like in your situation it's like a little bit different because it's like a very big volume now. But is it like something specific or was it just like I don't know everything put together?
I think, you know, like the continuous like repetition of everything coming along was like a really big stepping stone, and seeing it all like come together compared to like, you know, before I was doing this, you know, I was making money here and there, but it was nothing like for example, to put it simple, I was able to quit my full-time job by doing this. Like this, before ads, I wouldn't be able to do that, you know, like it was only making maybe 5K a month, like on a consistent basis, but it was so hard to push past that. And I think, you know, seeing all this come together, like seeing the amount of phones it's possible to get through like per day, if you really put your time and effort into it, it's, you know, that was definitely my stepping stone there.
Yeah, that's definitely good. So like beyond money, you would also like generally just say like, all right, it's like a lot easier now, just like not really having to work like a 9 to 5 anymore, and then just like being able to focus more on money. And I mean, obviously we already also like saw the change like within like 1 month, like from, I mean, 15K is already also like pretty good, but I mean like from 15K to 25. And I mean, I guess we'll see how the next month, or the next months even, like kind of play out in that regard as well.
100%.
Because
on you as well, because you got so much freedom going on in the day, and you're kind of just working on your own accord, and you know that you're like that this money is possible.
Yeah, and I mean like that's like one question I always like to ask is like I so often have like people like hitting me up and they're just like always doubtful of themselves, like either thinking like the city's too small or like in the country it doesn't work, or I don't know, it's too complicated of a system or it takes so long. Like just like your genuine opinion, like what would you say to these people who are just like, shit, it's probably not going to work?
Well, I think no city's too small, because, you know, each city still has so many people in it. And as I said before, everyone's got a phone. Most people have got iPhones, which is obviously what we prioritize. And I think even if your city is small, there's still so much opportunity in finding deals each day. Like if you're using Marketplace in your city and you're still getting like, phones here and there, that's just proof that there is phones in your area and that there's a lot more to come if you were to be running ads.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, there's not much else to cover. You pretty much put the coffin on the nail. But like your plan from here with like Jamie and everything, like what do you kind of want to take this? I mean, most people obviously are already like wanting to go where you guys are already currently at. But like, how big is your ambition? Like multiple cities trying to do it there, or like, I don't know, 50K, 100K mark. Like, what's like the big goal like in the end for these next months?
Honestly, at the moment, the sky's the limit with what we're aiming for. But if we were to put a number on it, like we're trying to hit those 50 to 100K months, like as you mentioned before as well, it's definitely doable for the scale that we're going and the growth that we're having at the moment. Definitely can do that. We want to take over a few more cities as well. So obviously we're just doing Sydney at the moment. We want to go down to, other cities like Melbourne and Perth and things like that, see how they go. I think really it can just turn into like a massive, massive business doing this. It's not just like, I have a lot of people come up to me when I'm buying phones saying like, oh, I like this little side hustle you're doing. But it used to be like that at the start. And then, it's just gotten much further than that. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The side hustle is probably not the best wording for it anymore. But yeah, true. I agree. Especially for you guys. I mean, at the same time, you also just like obviously have to be transparent about it. It's like Jamie and Ben, like they have just like already been doing it for a longer time and they're just like very determined with it. It's like what they do like most of the day. So it's like you cannot expect to just like be in your city, you're not responding to people, you're not doing pickups, you're not meeting up with people, you don't reinvest the profit into ads again, and then like expect to have like a 20K month. It's like completely unrealistic. But I mean, for people obviously who are like go-getters like them, it's like 25K is like still pretty low for how much they're definitely gonna reach. So I definitely agree on that. But I mean, like talking about beginners in general, like as well as like, what do you kind of think like most beginners, like either people, I would probably not even say people who never did phone flipping, but people are like, I don't know, only making like 2 or 3K a month thinking like, oh shit, that's like kind of their seeding and everything. What do you kind of think they get wrong with phone flipping in general?
I could relate it back to when I started out. I think just obviously the quantity of phones getting per week, like it holds you back to how much you're actually able to make. Like if you're only getting, like 2, 3, 4 phones a week, like obviously you're still going to make a little bit of money here and there, but there's also things that could go wrong with those phones. There's only so much profit in those phones, like each. I think starting out, like it's good to like work your way up to it. And then eventually, like if you're running something like we're doing now, it's a lot easier to manage because you're able to, you can quick flip these phones, sell them as is. You can repair them and sell them online. There's many ways to sell a phone. And I think, the more quantity, the more quantity you get, it's just, it makes life a lot easier. Yeah,
for sure. And I mean, like, all right, you said kind of spitting back to where you were at. And I mean, I 100% agree with what you just said. If you would have been on the fence, because obviously, like, it was very easy for you to trust me because you already knew, like, I knew Jamie and I was like good for it. And like, I kept selling to him back then. But was it like, how do you think, you would have reacted, obviously, if you wouldn't have known me, and what would you have kind of said if you would have been on the fence, to kind of make the jump and go for it and take the risk more or less, to work with me and actually scale your business?
Well, if I was at my position when I was still like, getting to know the whole game and like I was fairly new to everything, I'd still want to like see past results and things like that, see if it's actually working for other people, like if it's proven.
I mean, that's all we're doing it for,
Exactly, yeah, that's why we're doing this. So you can see obviously the proof's in the pudding and, like it can change lives like with how much effort you put into it. Obviously, you got to invest in yourself and nothing comes easy these days and nothing's free, unfortunately. But if you want something bad enough, then, it's the same as if you were to go and do a uni course. Like over here in uni, you're going to spend, tens of thousands of dollars to someone who probably doesn't even do what they teach. So, you're obviously investing in yourself and it's going to pay off long term if you're really just putting the work in it.
Beautifully said, bro. I mean, that was pretty much it. Very much appreciate you coming on here. Any last piece of advice? Maybe, I don't know, well, whatever it may be, if you have something. If not, it's also not an issue.
I don't know. Just work hard and create some goals, smash them out, and anything's possible, really.
That's what's up, bro. All right, appreciate you being on here. And then probably let's have another one like a couple of months down the line, and then hopefully you see like somewhere between like 50, 100K, and then let's crush it, bro.
Definitely, bro. Sounds good, man. Take care.
All right, appreciate it, bro. Thanks. Yeah, guys, that was pretty much already everything. In my opinion, pretty crazy to see how fast they already managed to scale. First month, 15K is pretty solid. Like most people using the meta ad system hit like 7 to 10K within their first month, but 15K is definitely in the upper range. And also last month hitting 25K is genuinely very crazy, especially like knowing about the fact that they're even going to continue to scale more and more. So I'm very excited to have them back on here in a couple of months as well. That was pretty much everything. Like I said, if you have any other questions, just let me know on my IG right below. It's like linked there. But if you already are confident enough that I can actually do help you out and you are a good fit, meaning that you are looking to scale very quickly and get to 10K a month as soon as possible, if I still have one spot left in your city, then book a call with the link in the description and I'll pretty much see you there. Have a good one.